Have you guys been to a Bank of America branch lately? Is it like the one that I went to where there's like 0 employees? Some say it has to do with the central bank digital currency, and others are saying that bots are taking over. Have you ever heard of OpenAI or ChatGPT? Yeah, things are looking like an episode of Black Mirror by the day. And what's happening to regular hardworking Americans? Well, have you heard about the surprise layoffs Google did? 12,000 jobs, and some people just found out when they couldn't use their company computer or got locked out of the office. No wonder we're hearing more and more about protests happening around the world. This latest one in France, 1 million protesting over the president's plan to raise the retirement age from 62 to 64 years old. Yeah. 1 million people for real. While here in the United States, full retirement is up to 70 years old, and they're even talking about raising it up even higher. What do you guys think about that? Sounds like a ripoff if you ask me. Do you feel like they're just intentionally stacking the deck against us at this point? Drop a quick yes or no in the comments down below. Also, if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Get your free home warranty quote. The link is down below. Only takes like 15 seconds. Thousands of you guys have already done it, including myself. Get your free home warranty quote. The link is below. First, a major sign of things to come. Bank of America branches that have 0 employees. Really, guys? It looks like something straight out of the episode of like The Twilight Zone or Black Mirror or something. There's this creepy TikTok video of a Bank of America branch that went viral. Here, check this out.
I just had the most bizarre experience at this Bank of America, so I decided when I left I was gonna make a video really quick. Has anybody else seen something like this? It's completely like no one in here, and it has these 2 little rooms saying come in. I mean, I don't know if I like living in the future. This is weird, yeah? I use the ATMs down there, but
now imagine going to the branch to make a transaction and there's nobody there. No other customers, no tellers, just signs instructing you to use videos to chat with a bank teller. The TikToker called the experience downright creepy. I've seen 1 or 2 branches like this in our area. You have to use your bank card to get in. Once inside, there's no employees, just 2 video tellers and 2 private conference rooms maybe where you can video chat with tellers if you need more privacy. And this isn't something that's totally new. Video teller machines that allow you to communicate with bank tellers on a video screen versus in person, they've been around for years. In 2001, Summit Credit Union in Madison, Wisconsin added video tellers in the lobby and drive-through of a new branch that it had opened. Coastal Federal Credit Union in North Carolina first toyed with video teller terminals back in 2003. And well, by the end of 2009, 10 credit union branches had reportedly converted to the technology. Basically, this is how they let one teller help members in multiple locations and instantly allocate teller resources to match branch traffic. The use of video tellers has grown over the years. Bank of America actually opened 3 completely automated branches, kind of like the one in that TikTok video. And they started doing that back in 2017. It really doesn't take a genius to see what's up and the direction that things are headed. They're cutting costs by cutting people out of the equation. And with a looming recession this year, Bank of America may very well add more video tellers to its operations. But some customers aren't so crazy about it. Here are some of the comments on that Bank of America TikTok video. First, from Zoe W. Quote, "If I go in the bank, I am there to speak to a person. If I wanted to Zoom, I would go from home." Another one from Ricky Jones said this, quote, "I think it's cool, but also sad there won't be any jobs left. Corporate America is going to ruin the world," end quote. Last one from Matthew Kramer, 195. He said, quote, "That's really insane. Although I don't set foot into a bank that much, I'd still like a human being to be there in case," end quote. But what about you guys? What do you think about companies and billionaires using tech and robots to replace human employees? I've been hearing more and more about people moving out of Bank of America. A friend of mine was with Bank of America for like 17 years, then got out recently because of the bank's shady business practices. During C-19, they closed everything but the ATM. And now that branch is closed. And what other channels aren't really talking about? The fact that you use your bank card to physically get in the branch. What happens if they just decide to not let you in? How are you supposed to get to your money? That's why I keep saying we have to prepare for the worst. Changing up financial institutions and where you put your money and even your income streams is great if everyone has access to their funds. But if there's some kind of a cyber attack, having some physical cash on hand will absolutely be king. Even with the systems up and running like normal, you just can't waltz into a bank and get more than maybe a few $1,000s if you needed it. They'll ask you a million questions about your own money, and you'll have to order your cash on a delivery. Mix that with the fact that you can only withdraw a certain amount via ATMs daily, and you'll be SOL, or sure out of luck, if and when the bank runs begin, even if you know a day or two ahead of time. Having a stash of cash, at least enough to keep up with, running for a few weeks, at least is ideal. Or at least that's what I've been reading. Some say this is happening because of the CBDC, or the central bank digital currency. Either they're updating the systems over to CBDC, or they're just taking the fiat cash out of the system like Venezuela did last year. If they were merely changing the system to accommodate or upload the CBDC system, then they would have to let us know. Either way, we have to keep watching, guys. It's messed up, I know. It's not good. The CBDC has the potential to take away all of our privacy. So yeah, let's keep watching and see about this in the next one. Make sure you guys are subscribed and keep that notification bell turned on. Seriously, guys, if they control our money, they could do something shady like what Google did to their employees. 12,000 people let go, and some of them without even a word. Just locked them out of their computers and the office. Don't believe me? Look what I found online. First, from Reddit, got laid off from Google today. No notice. Just remote shut off my laptop and locked me out of the building. I had to tell my own boss my wife is pregnant. This is life in America. Seriously, guys, the wife is pregnant and everything. Come on. Another one from Daniel Roberts on Twitter. Google NYC employees who arrived at the office early this morning stood in a line to test their badges. If the light turned red, it meant that you had been laid off. If green, you were safe. It's like they're putting people in a survival show in real life. 12,000 jobs, Google. Real people and not just statistics. Something to keep under your hat when you're considering investing in the stock market and the tech sector. Google is the latest tech giant to announce a massive layoff. The company announced that it was slashing about 12,000 jobs. According to Google CEO Sundar Pichai, they supposedly notified affected employees in the United States. CEO wrote in an email to all Google employees. But some people apparently weren't notified at all. In total, Google laid off 6% of their global workforce, and it's happening all over tech. Microsoft announced sweeping layoffs and is cutting 10,000 jobs, or about 5% of its workforce. Amazon and Salesforce announced layoffs earlier this month. The companies say that they hired rapidly during the pandemic and now have to make serious cuts. Now, when inflation is at record highs and the economy's teetering on the edge of a recession, seriously? Right now? And what do they have to say for themselves? A whole lot of gobbledygook. Google CEO Pichai said in an email, quote, "Over the past 2 years, we've seen periods of dramatic growth. To match and fuel that growth, we hired for a different economic reality than what we face today," end quote. See? A whole lot of non-apologetic gobbledygook. It's happening all over Wall Street too. Goldman Sachs said that it was planning to lay off 3,200 employees in one of the biggest cuts since the 2008 financial crisis. Now, let me read this out for you guys. It will never not be weird to me that driving up unemployment is seen as a completely acceptable way to control inflation. It will never not be weird to me that wages growing faster than inflation is seen as a dangerous crisis requiring immediate intervention. It will never not be weird to me that nurse wages rising fast due to a nursing shortage prompts the government to consider capping nurse wages, but not to consider opening up immigration or making more nurses or letting wages rise. I don't know. Does that make sense to you guys? Drop a quick comment, yes or no, down below. Just take a look at France. They seem to have the right idea there. 1 million protesters against raising the retirement age. Here, take a look at this clip. Everyone took to the streets in the City of Love as strikes disrupted train services, flights, schools, and businesses in France. Showing us how it's done? There were more than 1 million people who protested against the government's plan to raise the retirement age for most workers. Protests in major cities, including Paris, Toulouse, Nantes, Nice, they brought many transport services to a standstill. The Eiffel Tower was closed to visitors. France's Interior Ministry said that more than 1 million people took to the streets across the country, including 80,000 in Paris, where small groups of demonstrators threw bottles, rocks, and fireworks at riot police. 8 of the biggest unions took part in the industrial action against pension reforms unveiled by President Emmanuel Macron's government. The unions have called for another day of action on January 31st against legislation that will require French citizens to work until 64 from 62 currently to qualify for a full state pension. While here in the United States, full retirement is already up to age 70. What's up with that? The French government said that this needed to be done to tackle a pension funding deficit, but angry workers weren't taking it anymore, especially when the cost of living has never been higher. Teachers and transport workers were among those who did not report for work. More than 40% of primary school teachers and more than 1/3 of high school teachers went on strike. Train lines across France saw severe disruption, and metro lines in Paris were hit by full or partial closures. Meanwhile, Eurostar canceled several services between the French capital and London, and some flights were scratched altogether. According to one of the organizers, 2 million people took part in more than 200 protest events across the country. Now, I know this is France, but it is time that we took notes, guys. They could easily say the same thing here, that Social Security funds are running out, so people have to work longer. Make sure we don't let them do that. Share this video with your friends and your loved ones now. And hey, drop a comment to show your support. More on that and other important news in our next updates. I hope you caught all of the information in today's money update and daily news report. Banks taking out employees from their branches, letting people work with video tellers and bots, Google laying off thousands of workers without even letting them know that they were fired, and for our finale, the 1 million strong protest that they did in France. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and hey, appreciate you guys always hitting that like button. Really helps out the channel big time with the YouTube algorithm. These updates are ramping up by the day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Be safe.